Hey guys, welcome to Code Monkey. It's me. In this episode, we're going to talk about adding polish to your game. So that means adding things like user interface or UI elements such as a score and maybe a menu system, also integrating sound into your game using sound effects and music, and then finally we'll talk about debugging. So how do you debug your game and find those nasty bugs? Let's get started. Okay. So in this episode, we're going to be creating a very simple game. So this is just a quick example to show you some of these concepts. We have this square here, and our goal is to get this square over to that triangle as fast as possible. There's going to be a little bit of a tutorial on how to make a square move, but we're really focusing on these other concepts right here. So let's say that we want to add a score to this game. So anytime the square moves closer to the triangle, the score goes up. So we're going to need to add a text object, and we're going to keep track of that score and update that text as the game is being played. So let me go ahead and just jump into the code editor here, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So we're using the Unity game engine here, and we have our score set to 0. So when the game starts, the score is 0. And then whenever the square collides with the triangle, we want to do something. So let's say we want to add 10 points to our score. So we'll create a variable here called plus, and we'll say that equals 10. And then we will take our score, and we will add this plus variable to it. So now we have the score set up, but we need to display it somewhere on the screen. So we can use this text object right here. So we'll take our text object, and we'll drag it into the inspector. And now we can see it down here. And if we double-click on it, we can edit the text. And currently it says Hello World. But what we really want to do is to display the score. So we'll leave the default Hello World there. And then we will create a new variable called text. And we'll take this text object and we'll drag it into this text variable. And now we have our score set up. The next thing we want to do is to actually display it on the screen. So we'll create a new function called update. And inside of this function, we're going to take the text and we're going to set the text property to the score. And now, whenever we play the game, we should see the score up here in the corner. So the next thing we want to do is to add sound to our game. So let's say that every time the square collides with the triangle, we want to play a sound effect. So we'll create a new variable called audio source. And we're going to drag our audio source into this variable. And then we'll create a new function called onCollisionEnter. And inside of this function, we'll create a new variable called hit. And we'll take that audio source and we'll play it. The next concept we want to talk about is debugging. So let's say that we want to figure out where this bug is. So one way to debug is to print statements. So we can create a new function called start. And inside of this function, we'll print Hello World. And when we play the game, we'll see that message in the console. Another way to debug is to use breakpoints. So if we go to this line right here and we click on this little bug, it will create a breakpoint, and when we play the game, it will pause on that line. And we can step through the code line by line to figure out where the bug is. So the last thing we want to talk about is error messages. So if we have an error in our code, we'll see an error message up here. So if we go ahead and we delete this line right here, we'll see that our program no longer compiles. So we'll see an error message that says, cannot implicitly convert type int to string. So it tells us exactly what the problem is and where the problem is. Let's go ahead and get rid of that error and get this program compiling again. All right, so we have our program compiling again, and if we play it, it works perfectly fine. So we've added UI elements, we've added sound, we've debugged and fixed errors, and we are ready to share our game. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to like, and I'll see you next time.